Welcome to the Undercovers podcast. I'm Ben along with Connor, Jenna, and Paul. We got our, new team here together for the first time. So, we're ready to rock and roll. Hopefully everyone had a great, holidays, whatever you celebrate, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. I think I may have missed a couple, but I know there's a bunch of different holidays. We got New Year's coming up. But Bills and Miami both with critical wins this week. We got a interesting, final game stretch coming up here. You know, the AFC East is very much still alive. I mean, the Dolphins are fighting for that one seed. They got a huge game, so there's a lot to talk about.
You got that right, Paul. I think plenty is kind of an understatement, but whatever you want to say.
Yeah, definitely. It's a shame that we don't know the time of the Week 18 game and that both the Week 17 games are at 1:00. So, like,
NBC
we'll each be watching our respective games.
Mm-hmm. That's the whole point. And of course, unfortunately, I don't know why they had to give y'all Kevin Harlan in the 3 team, but they gave y'all Kevin Harlan, made every one of my fans mad, like really mad.
Yeah. Who do you guys got? We got Charles Davis and
Ian Eagle, Charles Davis, CBS's number 2 team. Maybe, yeah, sure, number 2 team. Oh, big whoop. Dolphins fans are in love with Kevin Harlan. We wanted Kevin Harlan, but everybody down there was talking, oh, he'll bring his negative energy. Nah. It'll be an interesting, like, every time he's talked about Dalton Kincaid, oh, he's slippery. Yeah, he'll make for
Kevin
a great
Harlan?
show. Yeah, Kevin Harlan.
Okay, hopefully Dalton shows up in this game. He's been awfully quiet for the past 2 weeks, unfortunately.
Yeah, man kind of got clamped by the Chargers defense.
Well, he also has a shoulder injury that he's dealing with too.
Ooh, yeah, there
might be something with that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's a lot to get into tonight. AFC playoff. I mean, the AFC just loaded in every way, like in an exciting way. Because you flip and you look at the NFC, it's just a bunch of 6 and 8 teams hoping they get to 8 wins, maybe 9, so they can get into the playoffs. I mean, in the AFC, it's the battle for like getting to 10 wins. And it's like that seems more entertaining than the battle of 8 wins and getting to the playoffs at 8 and 9. But weirdly enough, the Russell Wilson trade is seeming to be, possibly could be the worst trade in NFL history. He is now getting benched the last 2 games for Stidham. So I pose this question to you all. Will the Wilson trade go down as the worst trades in NFL history?
Personally, I don't think so. Because you also have the Deshaun Watson trade. Their franchise is going to be apt for years to come because of that. The amount of dead cap that is carried with his trade. The fact that he had a season-ending shoulder injury. The accusations. It just, there's nothing good that has come out of it. Maybe, the team is doing well. Their record is exceeding the expectations, but it still hasn't worked out. I mean, if you think directly about Deshaun Watson, it just hasn't come to fruition what they've envisioned.
Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco is elite.
Joe Flacco has always been elite. Like, that one meme of the 2 astronauts with the one pointing the gun, at the other guy's head, like always has been. Like, that's Joe Flacco. He's always been elite. Like, I heard a stat, I think it was either yesterday or today, but Joe Flacco is tied for as many road playoff games with Brady and Montana. So if he gets one more road playoff game, meaning, he wins even just a wild card, he will pass, arguably the 2 greatest quarterbacks of all time for most road playoff wins. I don't know if it's most, but on the list with 8 road playoff games. That's pretty impressive. Like that's almost some GOAT material. So that feeds into my my Joe Flacco agenda. If if that happens.
Your Joe Flacco agenda? Yeah.
No, Flacco.
Oh, okay.
Flag
Yes.
goat.
Push this one too, Ben. The fact that the Cleveland Browns have, I think it was like 49% of their salary cap is on IR right now, and yet
Yeah.
they're still in position to not only make the playoffs but win the AFC North.
Yeah, I mean,
And the
if they
1
get a
seed.
little bit of help, I don't know
Yeah.
if they can get the 1 seed.
No, they
Yes,
can't.
they can.
Oh, they can.
They can.
Okay.
They
They have
can.
Wow.
They have to win out, and the Dolphins have to lose at least one game along with the
Okay.
Ravens.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
they'd all tie at
that
12
would
and
be
5.
That's
crazy if
crazy.
Joe Flacco, I mean, just think about some of the storylines you have for the playoffs. Even if he doesn't win the division, he can go back to Baltimore. And what if he, breaks that record in Baltimore in the
That'd be
playoffs?
so
That would
ironic.
be crazy going in, taking out the guy who replaced him, or you have one of the most probable matchups on the NFC side, the 6 seed Rams going to Detroit to
Mhm.
play the
Oh,
3rd
that's
seed,
great.
and Matthew Stafford's first, playoff game ever in Ford Field is going to be against the Lions. And, if he beats the Lions, kind of like, how, the Vikings lost in last year's postseason, like that would be so ironic. Like, then this, a lot of people will be starting to question, whether the NFL is scripted or not, because then the script is almost too good at that point.
Oh, you got that right. But back to the original trade question that was posed. I still don't feel like, okay, yeah, sure. The Russell Wilson trade is actually going to be looked at as very bad. I think what's also very bad is the fact that they extended him immediately after trading for him. Like, you
Yeah,
haven't even played a snap with this man,
they should
and
have.
you're going to extend him already?
They
Like
should have
that.
gave him a test season to see how he looked, before committing the future to him,
Yep.
because they really screwed himself.
Because now you've committed to the future with a guy that practically now won't want to be there.
Yeah.
But
True.
so you
Well,
got
and they don't even want him there. It seems like, right? Like,
they just
they're
don't want to pay
probably
his
looking for the
bonus.
future. Yeah.
They just don't want to pay his bonus. That's the only reason he's sitting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but you look at what other teams had done in the past after they benched quarterbacks. A lot of the times there've been trades following it, or they've been released. Like when Matt Ryan was set in
yeah.
Indy. Derek Carr was benched at the end of his campaign in Vegas.
hmm
It
And
happens. So I mean, maybe Denver's looking to cut ties, because you also have to look at it from this perspective. Sean Payton wasn't the one who brought in Russell Wilson, so you have to think he wants to bring his own guy in eventually. And if this is the right opportunity to cut bait, like it doesn't seem like the Broncos have a lot invested in older players. Yeah, I know they have,
Mhm.
some, you know, younger stars and guys like Surtain and Simmons will have to pay. Cortland Sutton looks like a really good. I don't know if he's a receiver 1, maybe like a receiver 2, but I mean, I don't think they have a ton they need to invest. I think now would be the right time if you're Peyton. Kind of look for the future, cut your losses, fix your cap for next year, and then the year after you can make a run at it, because the NFC West went from last season. People thought it was going to be one of the best divisions in NFL history, to now you had
Are you talking
three
about the AFC
AFC
West?
West. Sorry, AFC
Yeah.
West. The AFC West, last year people were talking about it being the best division in NFL history, to within, less than 2 years, 3 of those 4 coaches got fired. Chiefs fans are starting to turn on Andy Reid. I'm not saying Reid's going to get fired, but
no,
the way the Chiefs have looked recently, they're no world beaters, even though they won the Super Bowl. Like that division looks, the outlook of that division is a lot different than what it was a year ago. So if you're Denver, it might be the right time just to pull the plug.
How long
I
before
found
Sean
this
Payton?
interesting. Oh,
How long
sorry.
before Sean Payton tries to call Drew Brees and be like, "Come back, play with me one more time"? And no, he physically can't.
Right.
That was more of a joke than anything else because he literally can't play. Drew Brees' I think entire right shoulder all the way down is just broken. Like it doesn't work anymore, and it's because they refused to let him sit in his last year when he got it injured. He played through it. Now he's paying the price. But
He would have been throwing a lot weirder than he already has.
exactly.
Dolphins legend Drew Brees, right?
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Ben. I appreciate that. If we would have drafted him instead of Dante Culpepper, we'd have been places by now.
Yep, you
But
might
this
still have
comes
Nick
at a-
Saban.
Don't-
And how would Alabama look?
Don't bring that on us.
This
But,
the benching of Russell Wilson comes at an interesting time because I found this stat from Adam Schefter. The move comes from Russell Wilson when he's the NFL's 7th rated passer with 26 touchdown passes and 8 INTs. I mean, he's not having a terrible year.
No, he's not. It's just
They're just unwilling to pay his incentive
I
mean,
that
or money because if he gets injured in the last 2 weeks.
I think it also has something to do with the fact that they lost to New England. If
Right.
they didn't, they would still be in the playoff picture.
yeah.
And he'd
No,
likely
you're
still
right.
be the starter.
yeah, firmly in the playoff picture. They still have an outside shot now,
Like
but
5%.
yeah,
I'm gonna make a bold take, and I think Bo Nix is gonna end up being the starting quarterback for Denver
oh my
next
God,
year.
Bo Nix,
Ooh. I
spicy.
think that's juicy.
Yeah.
That's
That's a
juicy.
spicy take. But one last bit about the trade bit. Everybody likes to forget about the Herschel Walker trade.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. Or what about even the Laramie Tunsil trade?
Don't
The
you
Trey
talk about the
Lance.
Laramie Tunsil trade
Tra-
because that was the greatest trade. that
No,
the
I'm
Dolphins ever
saying for
made
the
in their
Dolphins, it
lives,
was a good trade. For Houston, they gave up a lot.
and only to face plant within like a
He's still a
season.
Exactly.
good left tackle.
It was a good
Laramie-
left tackle, but like
Generational talent at left
they
tackle.
gave up a lot of capital, and it helped the Dolphins, and it didn't really help the Texans a lot
Yeah.
at the time because they got him to protect Deshaun Watson and try to make a Super Bowl push. Now he's the left
And
tackle
nope.
on a rebuilding team.
Yep. Well,
But the Trey Lance trade is even worse. Oh my gosh.
oh man, that's just funny, and it's a direct result of said Laramie Tunsil trade all those years
Yeah,
ago.
I
If
know.
If
It's
the
like
Dolphins elect to keep Laramie Tunsil, then none of this ever happens. Tyreek Hill probably still in Kansas City right now.
Probably.
all
Probably.
because Laramie Tunsil, on draft night, that video leaked.
Oh man, that's why he's been getting Pro Bowl votes from the Dolphins fan base. Just because. Yeah, I've actually retweeted a couple of Pro Bowl votes for him, just because the fact
Are
that
they
his
thank yous for you having now Tyreek
yes,
Hill?
yes, he indirectly got us Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Bradley Chubb, and Jalen Ramsey.
Oh, jeez, wow.
hmm
This one
Easily,
dude just gives you everything.
yep, it was one of the most lopsided trades. Not bad at the time, but very lopsided. If we're talking just plain bad, obviously the Herschel Walker trade, the Trey Lance trade, those are the two that are like right there neck and neck because the Vikings gave up the farm for Herschel Walker and he did next to nothing for them. It's quite the embarrassment, if you ask me.
The
You give up-
RG3 trade kind of face planted too.
Oh,
Yeah,
They gave up like 8 draft picks to move up,
Mhm.
and it wasn't really RG3's fault. Mike Shanahan put him in, when he was hurt in the playoffs when he had a more than capable backup quarterback. Like they should have just played Kirk against Seattle, and who knows what would have happened with RG3. But
Mhm. Good old Kirky boy.
yeah,
Oh, look who came. So let's kind of transition to one other NFL news and note thing is the Detroit Lions finally win a division for the first time in 30 years. If you did not see the tweet that we put out last night about the Detroit Lions,
Detroit is spelled wrong.
yeah, Debt Riot. Let's go, Debt Riot.
Let's go get Riot.
Yeah, Debt Riot. All right. Well,
Debt Riot Lions.
The Dead Riot Lions won the first NFC North title ever. Yes,
That's
NFC
going-
North title because the
Yeah.
NFC North didn't exist the last time they won a division. They were still in the NFC Central.
You know who else didn't exist? The Jags, Ravens, Panthers, and Texans.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's insane.
you know,
The World Wide Web was first created. Beanie Babies were first created.
go.
That's just insane.
that's a
But
major throwback.
I'm very happy for them.
Oh, I think
yeah.
we
Very happy.
all. I think we all are.
Everyone loves Dead Riot.
Mhm.
I genuinely think that if they made it to the Super Bowl, oh my God,
That
could
would be
you imagine the
insanity.
turnout for the Super Bowl?
Can you
That
imagine a Bills Lions Super Bowl? How crazy that would be! I don't think the world could handle that.
no, I
Which
admit
team is winning its first Super Bowl?
one
That'll
of
be
your cursed
insane.
franchises has to win a Super Bowl. Why
I know,
not y'all?
right?
Why
But
not y'all?
with our luck, it would end in a tie.
Or well, I'm not going to go there, but I was about to.
The jumbotron falls on the field, in the fourth quarter.
Oh no, I was just going to say that it's going to come down to Tyler Bass and he's going to kick it wide right.
Oh man, no, this time it's wide
No.
left.
No.
Are we trying to jinx ourselves?
Right.
Jenna's face, like I'm gonna reach through the screen.
Choke. I'm just kidding.
Oh
I'm just
man,
kidding.
I had to say
But like,
it. You
it's
knew I had to
incredible
say it.
what the Lions have done with
Mhm.
Dan Campbell. When he was first hired, everyone was laughing.
Yeah, former
at,
Miami interim head coach Dan Campbell.
Kind of wish we would have never let him go. Could you imagine Dan Campbell with this team now? But
I don't
I
want
would.
to. I don't want to. I'm glad
You
he's
know,
in Detroit doing his
Mhm.
thing and not in Miami doing
He's
his
the
Same.
thing.
perfect head coach for Detroit.
he really
Perfect.
is. He really is.
Gritty.
He
Before
does
they
embody, Detroit perfectly.
eat their kneecaps, literally.
The personification of Detroit.
Mhm.
Did you
I
know the
would
last
just,
time the Lions and the Browns both had 10 wins in the same season was 50 years ago?
y'all
Wow.
realize that if those two teams make the Super Bowl, it's just going to cause a mass. It's just going to cause a mass riot because it's like the two teams that I grew up with seeing at like always competing for the top draft pick are now in a Super Bowl against each other. Oh my God! Talk about
Nah,
weird.
it's gonna
talk-
create like a black hole,
Yeah, for real.
Probably.
Talk about weird times that we live in. If
right?
the Cleveland Browns and Detroit Lions made a Super Bowl,
And it's
like,
Jared Goff against Joe Flacco. Oh man,
hey, no,
Literally.
hey,
you know
Hey,
that
no,
Jim
one.
Nance and Tony Romo would be just literally just in shock.
You know
For
that
real.
one
That-
graphic from I think it was like the 2017, it would have been like 2018 technically AFC Championship of like all the quarterbacks standing and looking at the stadium. It's like Brady, Foles,
Mhm.
Keenum, and Bortles. Well, this year it's gonna be something like Flacco, Minshew, and then
Oh my, yeah,
it's gonna be like
yeah.
I don't
the
know,
Colts, okay.
Purdy and
Goff.
Goff, and then in like
Oh my
10 years,
gosh.
people are just gonna be looking at it and be like, "Who are
How did
these
this happen?
guys?"
Yeah.
It's like, what? It's like you got Mahomes, Jackson, Burrow, and like Allen all in their primes, and you have these guys in the championship game. It's just one of those years, I guess, and that's
just
why
a weird year in the NFL. Just
Yes,
it is, and that's
Weird.
why if you make it into the playoffs, I think almost any team has some kind of shot based on the last couple weeks because it's really been like any given Sunday, week to week
It's been a
league.
parody.
Yeah,
A real
it's
parody.
been ultimate parody, and part of it maybe it's because the level of football isn't at like an all-time high, so
Mhm.
Brady even said like there's a lot of bad football being played, and I'm not gonna necessarily disagree because I think there's a lot of mediocre to bad teams in the NFL right now. But if you're somewhat healthy and you're getting hot going to the playoffs, I think you got a great shot in this playoffs because first and foremost the AFC. The number one
Mhm.
threat in the AFC the last 5+ years, they're not on their A game right now. I mean, they're not even in the playoffs right now. There's scenarios where the Chiefs could lose the division and Antonio Pierce's Raiders win the division with Aiden O'Connell. Could you guys imagine if that happened after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl? You know, the Raiders
would-
came out of nowhere after firing Josh McDaniels and, won the division. That would be crazy. But,
Yeah.
and then you got the Jags. Everyone thought they would take that next step in the AFC this year, but Lawrence has had injury and turnover issues. Their defense has fallen off completely. They don't necessarily have a run game, and they have some injuries to some of their receivers. So they look like a team you can get. Baltimore obviously looks, they look like a powerhouse right now. And then you got the Bills and Dolphins who, for being honest, have looked like the best team in the league at some points, but then they've blown games to teams like the Titans and the Broncos at home on Monday Night Football, both ironically, right? Like,
Mhm.
you just sit there like, man, like, how did we lose this game? But then, again, beat the Cowboys at home and you're like, wow, we could beat anyone. So, and then you got, as we mentioned earlier, the Browns, who like 49% of their salary cap is on IR. They're missing their starting safety, I think, is a Delpit who's out.
Mhm.
They're missing,
Delpit,
Grant Delpit, their top 3 or 4 offensive tackles, Nick Chubb, 2 quarterbacks. Like, I mean, they've had all kinds of injuries, and still with Joe Flacco, the ghost of Joe Flacco, they're like 10-5. It's ridiculous. So,
it
I
just
mean,
reminds me,
it, it just feels so wide open, and I
It
think it really is wide open.
it
I
is.
think I think of that meme of Trump where it's like Joe Flacco is an elite quarterback.
Oh my god. Turns out he might. Turns out he
Mm.
still is because he is the
Mhm.
this is
He's
the
slinging
first
it.
time. Oh, he is. He's
Did you
slinging
see
it
his
and
mobility on Sunday? I mean, I'm
yes.
like, okay, 38 years old. The pockets collapse and he just bounces out and just throws the ball. I'm like, Joe
It,
Flacco, you're
it,
38
it,
years old. You just
yeah.
got off your couch
I think what's the
and you could
most
still
surprising, I think the most surprising thing about that was, how he looked when we saw him on the Jets last year.
Oh
But I
man.
saw someone even tweeted it. It's like, you know, Joe Flacco looks younger in a Browns uniform than
He
he does on
really
the
does.
Jets. I think the Jets just wear everyone down,
They
like
just age with their
Rodgers,
quarterback.
like,
The
they
curse of
just
Joe
suck your
Namath.
soul from you basically. So poor Joe Flacco was stuck in that terrible. I mean, it's not like Cleveland is that much better, but you got to give all the credit to Stefanski.
Yeah, and
100%.
I mean,
here,
the way
yeah,
he's just opening up the playbook. It almost looks like they're playing backyard football, and it's like, Amari, you just go deep. Joe chuck it up, and almost 80% of the time it's working. Like, he has multiple 300-yard, 3-touchdown games, which is absurd to think that this guy was just, on his couch, probably 2 months ago.
Mhm.
Mowing his lawn.
And could very well lead a team to the 1 seed. If all fell right, they could be the 1 seed at 12 and
I
5.
mean,
time is
it,
a flat
it
circle.
and it's even crazier because you look at how the Browns are playing and kind of like how they can play between how Flacco is slinging it and how they're still built, to be a ground and pound team, with that, offensive line, and defense. Like, they can win in almost any way, right? Like, they can, get into a shootout or a gunfight, or they can, just win a grimy game where you have to, run the football and control clock. And with how this AFC is looking like, it I think, it's a definite possibility that Cleveland could be the dark horse in the playoffs. And like, I don't think it's crazy to say Joe Flacco could go on a run because he's got the experience. Like, he's almost a guy you would trust in January.
Yeah.
And if you're Baltimore, I would be shitting myself if I had to play Joe Flacco,
Start chattering your teeth if he comes back into your house. I
right?
still think the most likely spot, which we'll get into later with the playoffs and all that, but there's a few interesting matchups that Flacco could be in that would easily not only get ratings, but would actually be really good football just in general.
All right, here's just another possibility. Bills and Browns AFC Championship game in Buffalo.
Yeah.
I don't,
That would be
Could the
that
tough.
world
defense,
handle
like,
that?
I'm not scared. Okay. Not really scared of Joe Flacco, even though he's like tearing up the league silently right now. But that Browns defense is
I'm scared of
mm,
how their defense
it's
is playing. You're right.
Miles
Miles
Garrett.
that
Garrett.
defense. Ugh. I mean,
That's
you
it.
look at how the build up against the Chargers.
Zadarius Smith.
You
Oh
know,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
Anthony
right.
Walker.
Mhm.
Denzel Ward.
Oh jeez, freak of
let's
nature, that guy.
Yeah,
let's get into the AFC uh scenarios and different types of things because the Bills 3 weeks ago had a 14% chance of making the playoffs, and now they are, I believe, a solid 94. And if they win, the Chiefs win, and the Seattle Seahawks win, the Bills are in the playoffs, and Week 18 will be for the division for them if
Well,
things continue to go their
If
way.
the
Right,
Ravens
if the
win this
Ravens
week.
knock off. So, should we be surprised that the Bills could clinch a playoff spot this weekend based off what I just said that 3 weeks ago we had a 14% chance of making the playoffs and we hit rock bottom.
I think you definitely do, just because the Bills needed a lot of help. They needed a couple upsets to happen. That included Denver losing to the Patriots. There's some other games that certainly helped them, including Tennessee beating Miami, because we're in the clear for the division. Like a couple weeks ago, it looked like Miami had it under reps, and that's what they thought. But they let a little bit of of light to us. We're starting to take any possibility, like after we needed a lot of help in the wild card race. We needed to go on a big win streak, and that's what we've done, right? Like, we haven't lost since that Eagles game. We're undefeated coming out of the bye. I mean, I think it's only been what, 3 games or 4 games since the bye. 3
3.
3,
Three.
but still
Yeah.
3-0 since the bye. I mean, you want to be playing your best football at the end of the year, and it seems like the Bills are. I know it wasn't the prettiest game against the Chargers, but I mean, they still got the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, think if maybe the Dolphins didn't lose to the Titans, they'd have the division under wraps by now.
Yeah.
and it would have been because if we would have just beaten Tennessee, then the win last week against Dallas would have done it.
Yeah.
Would have been not only for our playoff spot, would have been for the AFC East, and we wouldn't have had to worry about seeding. So yeah, thanks Tennessee.
Thank
If
you.
Appreciate y'all coming back
Thank
to
you.
life within
if
14 with a when we had a 14-point lead in 3 minutes that we just blew.
Mhm.
now
Because
if
we s-
Baltimore is able to take care of business too, and then you know we don't look past New England, and then we get that AFC East championship scenario where we did actually talk about on the show back when you were on it, and you predicted it could be a battle for the 1 seed. Now it's not going to be a battle for 1 seed, but it's still possible it could be for the 2 seed. So
Mhm,
your prediction was still pretty close, Connor, way
mhm.
back when. I think it was in October or whatever. But
The week of maybe the was it maybe
now,
the week of the Dolphins or was it the week
yeah, it was
after?
a
Yeah,
week of
yeah.
Dolphins or Jaguars, but you know there was a possibility where next week's game could have been to determine who was the home team for the playoff game, but it's looking more and more like if the Bills do make it, they're probably going to go to Arrowhead, or they're going to be the 2 seed, and then they would host the 7 seed, which is most likely going to be probably Indy, Houston, maybe Pittsburgh. I think those are the 3 teams who would be still alive for the 7 seed. I know Indy's at home. Their last 2 games already beat Pittsburgh, so I mean I think Indy Indy should maybe be that 7th seed. So I mean, maybe we play Indy if we're able to take care of Miami. If not, we'd go back to Arrowhead. But I mean, I think even you, Connor, feel confident about going to Arrowhead now the way that Kansas City is playing.
We should have beat him in Germany. We should have absolutely beat him in Germany. But
I just think that's a funny thing to say. Just not the
How
context
crazy
of it.
would it be if
That-
Tyreek's first game back in Arrowhead is a playoff game?
that's what he wanted. I mean, that's what he wanted all along. And he wanted to just prove to, Kansas City, the coaches, and everybody else, like, why'd you trade me? Well, you're about to be sorry that you did. And to be completely fair, they're already sorry that they did because look at their receiving core.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their best player is a rookie in Rashee
Mhm.
Rice.
Yeah.
Everybody else either has stone hands
Or looks
or
50.
exactly.
Just
Or it's just Travis Kelce, and you can't give the
Who
ball
looks
to
50.
Travis Kelce.
Mhm.
Exactly. You can't give the ball to Travis Kelce all the time. He's not like Gronk.
Especially, yeah, I mean, to me, Kelsey looks like he's injured. I know he had the injury at the beginning of the season, but you can definitely tell that his age is starting to show.
Mhm.
Mhm.
imagine a non-NFL fan hearing you say we should have beat them in Germany.
Oh my
I just-
god.
I don't know. I just thought that was funny.
That
We
is
should have
kind
beat
of
them in
funny if you
Germany.
think
No
about it.
context.
Yeah, no
Yeah, no
context. We
context.
should have beat him in Germany. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, you have a chance in Argentina next year, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Or
you
Brazil.
maybe
mean
Brazil.
Brazil.
It's
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Brazil.
I meant Brazil.
Yeah,
I'm
that's probably we're
all
probably
right.
week 1 we're probably going to Brazil.
Yeah.
Could you I don't even want to think about that. Everybody in the circles I'm in is like, "Oh yeah, week 1 is going to be our Super Bowl party in Brazil." And I'm just like, "Can we not go there yet? Let's focus on the Ravens, which I still think will easily be either the 2 seed if for whatever odd reason they're the 5 seed, at least they'll get probably Jacksonville, either Jacksonville, Houston, low key maybe Indianapolis, but no, speak of Indianapolis, I want if we win the AFC East, I want Indianapolis in the first round. The last time the Miami Dolphins won a playoff game in 2000, they defeated the
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis Colts. So wouldn't it be
Okay.
poetic and start a whole lot of more NFL is rigged basis to say that the
Yeah, it
Dolphins
would
get
be
their first
poetic.
playoff win in, you know,
But
all those years
wouldn't you
Indy.
fear that game being in Miami facing the final boss Florida man at quarterback for Indy?
No, no, we
You don't
got
think
salt and
Gardner
pepper, we're
Minshew
fine.
He's got a
Gardner
little something up his
Minshew is
sleeve.
gonna,
Yeah, we
pull
got salt
something
and
out?
pepper, we're fine. Yeah, we are absolutely fine. That their interior line would not be able to hold up that well against salt and pepper, I promise.
Well, that and their defense cannot stop a nosebleed. So I think any team wants to draw the Colts in the first round of the playoffs because
Mhm.
their secondary, outside of Kenny Moore and who's the one safety? I want to say maybe it's Baker. Yeah, that might sound right. But outside of those guys, I mean, I know they have Brents who's young. Jalen Jones is playing really well as a rookie. So I mean, they're a team that definitely I think you would want to play in the playoffs. But
Mhm.
what's our
Y'all know that video with who was it, Michigan, when they were in the CFP selection, when they all just kind of went, "Are you kidding me?" When they saw that they had to play Alabama in round 1. That's kind of how I feel like the Dolphins war room is going to be if for whatever reason that 7 seed is someone like that isn't who they expect, or if they have to go on the road and they have to be like, "Oh man, we got to play Buffalo round 1 or we got to play Kansas City round 1 away from home." Yeah, I don't
Welcome
want
to
us to be
Buffalo.
I don't want us to be in that position again. Oh yeah, welcome to Buffalo in January last time when we were there. Thank goodness it didn't snow again because the last time we were there when it did, y'all threw snowballs at us.
Thanks, David. We appreciate you coming in and giving our show some love. I hope you're enjoying the content we're putting out and enjoying everything else that comes with it. Stay tuned because we're also going to be talking about the 1 seed, which is determined right now. It seems like a two-way street. The Dolphins and the Ravens. Yes, the Browns are just saying, "Hey, hi, it's me. I'm not trying to be the problem." But then it's really just them two at the moment. But then the Browns are just out there lingering. So, who do we think gets the 1 seed right now? And I'm putting my money on the Ravens because their offense with Lamar is cooking. Their defense looks scary if they can hold on to leads. Other than that, I think the Ravens should lock up that 1 seed.
Well, not only that, they just need to win one more game. So even if they do lose to Miami, Miami's got to play Buffalo, and then they got Baltimore has to play Pittsburgh at home, and that's a revenge game because they lost to Pittsburgh earlier in the season. So I know Pittsburgh always plays Baltimore and Lamar tough, but if that game's in the bank for the 1 seed, I think Baltimore's going to roll in that matchup. So that's why I'm more confident in Baltimore winning 1 out of 2 than losing their last 2 games.
Yeah, losing their last 2 and giving the division to Cleveland, all things concerned.
Yeah.
Hey, in a year that the Detroit Lions won the NFC North, wouldn't it be just poetic if the Cleveland Browns won the AFC North? I mean, let's be honest with ourselves.
Yeah, and then the Bills win the AFC East.
No, that was not the same storyline. Y'all have won it what? The last
No.
what? 3 years in a row now? 3 or 4 years in a
Come on,
row?
what's one more?
What's one more? I mean,
And then
okay,
then
y'all
the
aren't wrong.
Cowboys win the NFC East, and we get a Super Bowl rematch that we finally have been waiting for, and we steamroll Dallas. That's
Oh,
the
man.
perfect ending.
again. No, I
You-
think for me, my favorite story would be the Bills meeting the Eagles in the Super Bowl and avenging their last-minute loss to the Eagles earlier in the year, and also completing their trip around the NFC East for a Super Bowl
Oh my
and
God,
actually winning it.
that's actually a good point because
Yeah.
what was it? Cowboys blew y'all out. Giants was wide right. When was the
Why are you
Commanders?
going through? Why are you going
Washington-
And
through?
then how ironic?
Washington,
Okay,
that
but
was
how
year
ironic
2.
would that be if the coach from Philly beats the coach from Western New York
Yeah, oh my god. Yeah.
coaching Buffalo
That's
Yeah,
a good
there
one.
you
against
go.
Philly?
Really good.
Like
Mhm.
that's like the perfect storyline, right?
It's funny.
Sirianni's from Jamestown, New York. McDermott's from Buffalo.
You mean isn't he's from
Or Philly. Yeah,
That's
so
funny.
he's from Philly. Uh, you know, his hometown team is the Eagles. Sirianni's from Jamestown, which is I think like an hour from Buffalo, maybe
It's like
Yeah.
itself.
That
maybe like
actually is
40
kind of
minutes or
funny.
something. So yeah,
It's more.
that would
Yeah.
be ironic.
Nah, I want the Eagles back. I want that.
I think every team that lost to the Eagles wants them back.
Yeah. Especially
especially
now.
our 2 teams.
Yeah.
Y'all barely got. I mean, y'all got screwed by the refs. We really got screwed by the refs. So I want them back. I want revenge for that 11 penalty to no penalty game. Was the score close? Yeah, until the very end. Just like the Jets a couple of years ago for us. We had the Jets 1917. Then they just kind of got a good streak going and blew us out 40-17. It's just how the Eagles did with us this year. I want them back. I want
Yeah,
them back, and I want
I feel that.
it to be for it all. So and get that same officiating crew out of there, so they can't call 11 penalties on us again for things that are very questionable. But
Yeah.
I mean, to be completely honest, I'm so excited to face the Ravens. I'm so excited. The Dolphins have gone 2-1 against the Ravens since 2019, and in 2019, that was kind of the game that really started it for Miami. We got blown out 59-10 at home. Players were actively getting with their agents, demanding a trade out of Miami because everybody knew at that point that Miami was going to be like a 2-win team or a 3-win team. But thanks to Brian Flores, they were a 5-win team.
Hmm.
Maybe if he would have done something all year, that might have been a 7 or an 8-win team. But anyway, that is a whole nother episode of the show. I promise. Anyway, we seem to have had Lamar Jackson's number. We've seemed to have had the Baltimore Ravens number in the last 2 years. What's one more in what would be not only for the 1 seed, but could very well be for the MVP? Lamar Jackson is the betting favorite for the MVP right now. What's this comment? If the Bills beat the Fins in Week 18, I have to have a Bills pennant for the. I'll do you one better.
Yeah.
I'll do y'all one better. I'll wear a Josh Allen jersey on the show. I don't care. I'll wear a Josh Allen jersey on the show.
Okay.
If they lose Week 18, if we lose the division, if we don't lose the division, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that. But if we lose this division, it'll be our own fault. So I'll do it. Y'all just hold me to that.
And if you lose the division, I'll get a Will Levis jersey because he's the official baby
Yes.
goat for that.
Yeah. I'll get a might have to get a Lamar Jackson jersey.
Connor might have to get a Lamar Jackson jersey anyways for winning him his fantasy Super Bowl.
Yeah, him and it's funny too because I'm starting Lamar Jackson against the Dolphins for the championship.
That's
So
gotta
it's
be
like
such a conflict.
A win-win.
It is a
That's why I don't.
conflict.
That's why I don't do. I give up on my fantasy team like a quarter into the season because I care more about the actual results of the NFL than my fantasy team.
I might have to start Zay Flowers along with Lamar Jackson. So might have to pray that the Dolphins go into a shootout with Baltimore, which combining the two defenses, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a shootout. I was trying to get that mold off your wall with the pen. That's brilliant. That's actually kind of brilliant.
Speaking of fantasy, I'm looking to take home the Undercovers League this weekend.
Oh,
yes, you are.
Yeah.
Good luck to
The
you. I haven't
championship
been paying
game.
attention to it.
You're up against, I guess, the I think you went 13-1, and the team is called Don't Suck.
Yeah, I'm facing
my
Don't
God.
Suck.
No
So
way.
yeah, hopefully I don't suck. That's like the message.
Hopefully you don't. But I'm going to be having to get probably Lamar Jackson or Christian McCaffrey jersey. Really, it's Christian McCaffrey. He's been my workhorse in fantasy all year long. And I love that guy. I wish he was a Dolphin, but not anymore because Raheem Mostert is just him. Also,
Right.
hold on. What's that? This is a legacy game.
about to get to that.
He could be seen as that dude by this weekend, or people could be questioning him by, Dolphins fans by next after this game. If Tua does bad, they're going to be calling for his head.
Probably.
There will be no.
Probably, yeah.
Even if he doesn't even do that bad, like if he posts a quarterback grading even in the low 90s or even a 100 and they lose, like if Tua throws, I'm not going to say it. If Tua just throws a pick that is
Tua turned the ball over.
Yes, if he does that, if that if that clip from his interview where he goes, "I am the worst football player," becomes real, and they lose and they lose to the Ravens, then yeah, that's a possibility. But I don't want to go there. It's gut check season. Dolphins fans don't really know what that is. Heat fans do, but
I think
they don't give it to the Dolphins fans. We that root for the Miami Heat, we know what gut check season is because we've needed it the past 2 years, and we've won critical games in the last 2 years. Not the Dolphins. We have to prove that we belong in the playoffs. Step 1 was beating Dallas. Step 2 is beating Baltimore and actually securing the AFC East for the first time in 15 friggin' years. Step 3 is beating the team we can't beat. Cannot beat to save our lives. And the only time we did beat y'all in the last who knows how many years, we literally had to conjure up the innate power of our state to win this game. We had to conjure up the power of our state to win the game, and not the alligator part of the state. I mean the sun. Heaven forbid in the next game an alligator runs onto the field at halftime.
That and Isaiah McKenzie forgot to go out of bounds.
Nah, we just stopped Isaiah McKenzie before he could. That's the narrative I'm going to spin. But anyway, but no, I
That
still
could
think
be just an entire episode in itself, how that game ended. I mean, just spending an entire an hour
What
and a half
punt?
just
Yeah, between the
Yeah.
oh,
butt
the butt
punt.
punt.
Butt punt.
I mean, the butt punt actually probably helped you guys if you think about it,
It did.
because you guys, instead of punting from your own end zone, you got to do either like a free kick or kickoff, whatever you do after a
Yeah.
safety. But we had to start on like our own 20 versus we probably would have started near midfield or, on your own 40.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yep.
And we just needed a field goal still at that point. So
Yep. Exactly. That butt punt helped us. I'm glad I was proven wrong. I'm glad I was literally sitting there yelling, just let them hike the ball out of the end zone. Just stand out. Just let Morstead stand out of the way. Let the ball go out of the back of the end zone. Get the safety. Have him free kick and try to
or kick it
give
into his
him worse
butt.
field position. But that happened, and it
But
worked out for us in the end.
yeah,
But
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 anyway,
let's get into another aspect. If there's new listeners to the show tonight, we applaud you for joining in, tuning in for content, and remember to subscribe and like. Is college football? There is a whole slate of college football on this weekend over New Year's. Well, not New Year's Eve because New Year's Eve is Saturday, so it would be that Friday
no,
into
it's Sunday.
Monday. New Year's Eve is Sunday, so that means the NFL is on Sunday, and then most of the bowl games are happening that New Year's Day,
Yeah.
the next day. So it's a
There's
weird
I can
some-
see
year.
it in your eye.
I think
Ben,
there's
I can
some
see it in
bowl
your
games.
eyes. It's in mine too. I can see it in your eyes.
So
You're
let's get
mad. I'm
into
mad.
our New Year's Six bowl predictions, and then that will transition to who is going to lift the national championship trophy in just a few weeks. All right, the first one. Let's start in the Cotton Bowl. Number 9 Missouri versus number 7 Ohio State. This might just turn into a Missouri slugfest.
Yeah.
With all the opt-outs for sure.
Ohio
mean-
State. Ohio State has a bunch of players that are opting out. They have some players that are injured that are getting ready for the NFL draft.
Marvin
So-
Harrison Jr.
Yeah, I don't think he's officially declared out, but you can probably already tell that he's gonna
Welcome
be
to the
opting out.
Arizona Cardinals in a few months,
Yeah.
buddy.
He's like, oh man, do I get a season-ending injury so then I drop down in the draft and go to a good team, or
Welcome to the
Yeah.
Dolphins, then,
Okay.
buddy. We'll take
knock on
you.
wood though? I don't want to get
Yeah.
a season-ending
Knock on
injury.
wood that he doesn't get injured, but
Yeah.
falls that far. Welcome to Miami, buddy.
But I'm taking Missouri just because a bunch of Ohio State players are probably not going to be playing.
I believe in the depth of the team. I'm going Ohio
You do?
State.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe in the depth of the team. I'm going Ohio State.
yeah,
It helps that I know a guy who's a huge Ohio State fan that has basically laid out all the blueprints for how they're going to win the game. So
yeah, and Missouri, they got a young coach, young team that haven't really played in these national big games. So I lean Ohio State too. Although even without MHJ playing, you're gonna see some future star talent
Right.
at receiver in this game because
Yeah,
Luther
probably.
Burden is going to be a stud in the NFL. Remember that name in that game, Luther Burden on Missouri.
I can see it.
Give me Missouri in this one. A lot of opt-outs. Ohio State is interesting with their quarterback situation with Kyle McCord going to Syracuse and standing in the sidelines as he watches Syracuse get blown out by I think was South Florida, and then
Who's the
Devin
backup
Brown.
at Devin Brown, right?
Devin
He
Brown
transferred.
is no, he's going to.
He's
I
playing?
think he's on
Okay.
track to be the starter.
Oh,
for
then
that game, but
I feel
know.
like he can win.
I
don't think
feel like he
McCord was
could
good
win
either
too,
way.
but just lack of reps in a Cotton Bowl, big stage. Give me Missouri. Just young talent versus inexperienced head coach too in the situation too on the Missouri side. He's 0-2 in bowl games, so we'll see what happens. Let's head over to the Peach Bowl. Number 11 Ole Miss, number 10 Penn State Nittany Lions.
Ooh, I'm actually like this is really tough because I'm split. One, you got a guy who never shows up in big games in James Franklin. On the other side, you got a perennial choker in Lane Kiffin who always underachieves. So it's like
Choke bowl.
it's almost what it seems like to me. It's like I want to go Ole Miss because of the SEC, top 10, whatever. But I mean, Penn State is battle tested themselves. I think they got a better defense, so I kind of lean Penn State. And even though I don't trust James Franklin, I trust him more than Kiffin. So give me Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Penn State too.
I think we might be unanimous on this one. I'm going Penn State as well. Paul, don't
Are
do
we?
it. Yeah,
Are
don't
we?
do it. You're the only
Are we?
one that's going to make us not unanimous. Don't do it. You know you want to
I'm
take Penn
going to do
State.
it.
Oh my
I'm going to
God.
take Ole Miss.
Is he really?
Ooh,
I'm going to take Ole Miss. I don't know, just something when
that's
I
the
do these
me
game picks, I just go
contrarian.
off what my gut is punching me, and I'm like,
Okay,
my gut was punching me to take Ole
I
Miss.
wanted to take Ole Miss, but
I
I
don't
feel
know
like
why.
it
Just,
didn't feel like a good pick to me.
I mean,
It's not.
James Franklin doesn't show up in big moments. I don't know what his team's going to look like. They went through a tough schedule in the Big
Yeah, but
Ten.
neither does Lane
Yeah,
Kiffin. So you're
weird
fighting a
game.
losing battle there back in Kiffin.
What could have been the
The
national
Fraud Bowl.
championship game?
Don't do it.
The Orange Bowl. Uga
Connor and I
versus
are
Florida State.
dying on the inside. Oh
I,
man,
I'm I'm already dead on the inside thinking about how this was the Orange Bowl when this isn't the national championship, or at
it
least the
should be the national
semifinals.
championship.
No, it should be at least the semifinals. The fact that Georgia blew it easy, well, I won't say easy. No game even in college football is easy.
I mean, if we're being honest, Connor, it's almost Georgia's fault for putting us in this position because if
No.
Georgia just took care of business against Bama,
Mm-mm.
they probably would have put
Yeah.
No,
FSU, and they would have just went They would just went,
Ben,
straight
Georgia,
undefeated
Michigan,
teams.
Texas.
Ben, the committee put in Texas and Alabama over us. You don't think they
Nope.
would have put in Texas over FSU with
I
how
think
they
it would have
treated us?
been. I think it would have been a lot easier just to go. Here's the 4 undefeated conference champions, less controversy.
I mean, yeah, less controversy, but they already got the
Yeah.
controversy out of the way by the time they put in when they decided they were going to put in, which nothing against either Texas or Alabama, both really deserving teams, especially with Alabama's
Nah, they're not
last win.
deserving. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, maybe not Alabama, but Texas. No,
Alabama,
you got to
no.
give Texas props where you can give Texas props, Ben.
They deserve props, but not over Florida State.
I mean, no, you're not wrong. We're undefeated. They're not. Imagine losing, ain't us. But
In this situation, I'm gonna
And,
repeat
and
what I
imagine
said
losing to
when this
Oklahoma,
happened.
right? Like,
oh yeah, can't
who we
relate
beat in
there
the
either,
Cheez-It
Kim.
Bowl.
But let me kind of like go back to the old track when this happened. You put Alabama in the same playoff as Texas, but Texas beat Alabama. That
Mhm,
kind of like contradicts
Yeah.
itself in a way.
It
Like
does.
Texas beat
Oh my
Bama,
god.
Yeah,
and you're just
I
going to
mean,
allow
they
Bama
shoulda
to
just.
come in, which was
Yeah,
one of the best wins.
they
That
want
could
a
be,
rematch.
say,
Let's
one of the
be
worst
honest.
losses.
That's what they wanted. That's why they made the brackets the way they did.
Mhm.
So, they want Bama to take care of business against Michigan. Number one, because, they don't really get any money off of the Big Ten.
Nope.
Number two, they're going to want, Texas, their new Golden Boys, coming into the SEC in it as
Oh,
well, because, I mean, they may. Well, yeah, Washington's going to the Big Ten as well, right? So, like,
True.
there's really no, advantage for ESPN for having it be a Washington, Michigan national championship. That's like ESPN's
please.
nightmare. Like,
All right, let's
No,
get
ES
back on
Yeah,
track. Who
probably.
wins the
No,
Peach Bowl, though?
no, ESPN's nightmare would have been us getting steamrolled by Michigan. But anyway, that would have never happened. Long story short, getting us focused again, we're winning. We're winning. I don't care.
I
We're
agree.
winning. We're winning.
We're winning. and
you two
then
can disagree all you want. We're
all
winning.
the narratives are going to be pushed aside, and it's going to be, even louder from the FSU fans because Brock Glenn is going to be slinging that ball. I have a feeling that Coach Norvell is just going to be like, you know what? We got nothing to lose at this point
Nope.
because we're not playing for standings or seeding or, I feel like he kind of reined Brock in just to take care of business because he didn't expect to be screwed. But now we got to show that we belong, even without Keon, Jared, the players we lost in the
let them
Cam, we lost a bunch of players in portal too. So I think
sadly.
we still got a good squad,
Well, we have a great squad. We got a great
Is
recruiting.
Patrick Payton playing, by the way, or no?
I think so, actually.
Oh,
I'd
really?
have to check that, but if
Okay.
he is,
Yeah.
just makes my decision even easier. Just
Yeah.
let Coach Norvell scheme a full game of pass plays with Brock Glenn. Let that ball fly through the air and just destroy Georgia. That'd be the greatest
Yeah. Let
ending to
Brock cook.
let Brock cook. Exactly. Oh, hi, Josh.
You know what? I think I'm gonna go FSU with this one, just because I think they have something to prove and they wanna spite the
Committee.
the
The college football
CFP.
playoff invitational. That's what it's
Yeah,
called.
yeah,
Right, Connor?
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Imagine
They
leaving out an
want to prove
undefeated
some
power.
people wrong.
Yeah, imagine leaving out an undefeated Power 5 team. But
Right.
we won't go there too much because I
I
could
guess
Ben,
it's on
that's a
my
full
shoulders.
episode for us. Wait,
Guess
what?
it's on my shoulders to see and if this is unanimous or not. I
Again.
mean, it again. Look, I wrote down UGA earlier, but I'm just sitting here just listening just to the two FSU fans. And I understand the entire, college football, them missing the playoffs and which they should have made the playoffs. I get that, but the issue is when I was looking at this game, it was like they're losing a lot of players. They don't have Keon Coleman, they don't have Trey Benson, they don't have a lot of, the core guys that was, there when Glenn was quarterbacking at the AACC championship game, which made me decide, well, okay, UGA could possibly just walk into the Orange Bowl and win. But I'm like, I'm sitting here listening to you two just talk about Florida State and what they have to prove. I think Mike Norvell is kind of, in a way he articulates his words is kind of like Sean
Thumbs up.
McDermott in a way, in the roundabout culture. Give me Florida State to
Let's
knock off
go. Let's
to
go.
knock off the Bulldogs, and but
Give us a share of that title if Bama wins too.
they
If Bama wins that title, give us a share. Give us a half share of that one, just like they had to do a couple of years ago.
Bama, yuck. But
Breaking news. Diana Rossini says that she's expecting Russell Wilson to be cut in the offseason.
Huh?
See?
Ain't no way.
Yeah.
I told
No
you
way.
he was on the move. Where's his next team?
New England.
New England?
Oh my god.
That would be so ironic.
New England. Watch.
Yeah, that would be.
Watch.
Are they finally going to hand it off on the 1 yard line?
Yes.
Mhm.
Or what about Pittsburgh?
No. They'll never do that. The
That would
Steeler
be
way is
funny,
too
though.
ingrained in their culture. They will not give up on Kenny Pickett until that man is like in his 30s.
Yeah, they almost can't get rid of him. He's been playing
they
in that
still-
stadium for years.
Mhm. You can't get rid of.
Before
They
he
won't
was
get
a-
rid of Kenny Pickett.
he went
They
to Pitt. That's why they
I
can't
mean,
let
they
the Pitt
still
guy
haven't
go.
gotten rid of
Bias.
Mason Rudolph. He's been on that team for it seems like forever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
he
been there
was.
since he was drafted.
Yep,
by
he
them.
was behind Ben Roethlisberger for years and years and
was.
years.
I'm surprised no one swung a helmet at him the other day.
Oh my
Yikes.
god. Oh man.
Let's get
So,
back into our little
yes.
fiesta, because the next thing is the Fiesta Bowl before our.
That was a good one.
Thanks, Jenna, for the applause.
Yes.
But what could be interesting here is, Bo Nix is playing. He's going to go to the NFL. But Liberty, I believe they're undefeated, group of 5 team. playing in the Fiesta Bowl against Oregon. Wash out by Oregon, or does Liberty has a chance to make this a game?
Wash out by Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon's gonna steamroll them.
If Bo Nix plays, which apparently he is,
He is
steamroll.
playing. Yeah.
Yep. Bye-bye, Liberty.
I
Bye-bye.
don't think Troy Franklin has opted out yet either.
Future Bill.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to go Liberty. I'm going to look stupid, but I'm going to go Liberty.
You might as well, because you probably won't look stupid if they do win.
Yeah, for
You
real.
know, I
You'll
went
look like-
Arizona against the Cowboys, and I thought I was going to look stupid and have
And
like
you
the couple
cooked.
biggest picks of the year.
and you
Go
cooked.
for it, you know.
For real, you
Sure.
cooked. Let
But-
Paul cook.
All right, let's get into our college football predictions. Let's start in the Rose Bowl with Alabama and Michigan.
Oh,
Who
so the game
goes to the
FSU should
national
have been in.
championship?
Oh, so the game FSU should be in.
I think. Well, I don't think this is my FSU fan in me wanting vindication for Alabama not be for them not being here, but I'll still go with Michigan, even though I want Michigan to steamroll them. I think they edge them out in a close game. I don't think this is the same Bama team we're used to. They've struggled against some weaker opponents. I don't really believe in their quarterback, and especially against Michigan, who's one of the better defenses in college football. I think that could pose trouble for their passing game. So I believe in Michigan just because they got a more experienced quarterback. Harbaugh, this might be one of his last games in the college ranks. Who knows? So he might want to go out on top. Give me the Wolverines.
Is JJ playing? Last
He
I
has
heard,
to.
he had a little
he's-
injury or something.
Why
Yeah,
wouldn't
I feel like he
play?
has to. If
Okay.
he's even remotely questionable, he has to play.
Otherwise, who's gonna play? Jim Harbaugh?
Yeah.
For real. What are you gonna do? Drag him out there? No, they're gonna play. He's gonna play, and they're gonna win. I mean, it's gonna be ugly. They're gonna be. CFP's gonna look back at this one and go, "Why did we put them in here?" It's gonna be bad. Michigan's just gonna have their way with them all day long and all night long.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be pretty. Poor Alabama. You get all this way, get aided by the committee, and you're still gonna get steamrolled because Michigan is just on another level.
Yeah, that would be poetic justice for that to happen.
And much needed. There will be some very loud FSU fans if that happens. You know, Ben, we'll be out there.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We'll be out there if that happens. Very loud too.
I'll take Michigan in this one as well. In the Rose
Good
Bowl.
one.
Poor Alabama.
Now, next one, I think it's Texas, Washington.
Yeah, that's the
Sugar
next
Bowl?
college football semifinal in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
Jenna, who do you
Yeah.
got?
Tex fight. It's goodbye to A&M. I got Texas.
I was gonna say you really gave the Texas fan the floor first, Paul. Come on.
Yeah. I got Texas.
Of
Even
course
though
you
I think that Michigan would be a good matchup for us because our run defense is stout and they could corral Blake Corum and his running mate. But I think that our passing game could take advantage of Michigan's or Washington's secondary.
That's just it too. Their run defense is awful. Trey Benson would have had a day against them. Like it would have been disgusting. But to that exact end, yeah, Texas is going to win the game. Texas is going to make the national championship, and then depending on
And-
who they play at the end of it all,
If we do play Michigan in the national championship, then yeah, I think that we have a chance against Michigan.
it's funny because the best defense in the entire country isn't even in the Final Four because we got screwed. Anyway, I mean, we had the defense that could have corralled anybody in the Final Four, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Ben, are you just angrily looking at the camera thinking of the possibilities now, or
Pretty much.
I
Pretty
am too,
much.
believe me.
Like,
I'm still salty.
I
Woof,
mean,
woof.
Hey.
woof woof. It's like,
Even Jenna's
Bills
dogs are FSU
fans.
fans.
Right. It's like the Bills fans' favorite saying during the drought. There's always next year, right? Like, you got
There
the
is.
12 team playoff format, whatever, but it's annoying, You had such a great season, 13-0, destroyed LSU, pretty much took care of business in the ACC seamlessly. Like, even the ACC championship game was never really in doubt.
No, it was not. Never was. But
And like,
So
they
Ben, who
don't
you have
account
facing
for
Michigan?
it being
yeah,
in the bad inclement weather either. They're just, Florida State wasn't able to move the football. They should not advance, even though they won the championship game. Either way,
the narratives are tired.
So I think it's good. I think it's Texas who beats Washington. It's not Jenna, but I do have a slight against certain Texas fans on
I know who you're
Twitter.
talking
Connor,
about.
you may
I know
know
who
who
you're
I'm
talking
referring
about.
to. So
I know
I
who you're
mean,
talking about.
I don't want like, it's not like I can't root for Texas because of it, but I don't want to root against them because of Jenna and other friends who are Texas fans. So like, I'm kind of just staying neutral. Even though I do like Michael Penix and Odunze a lot, so I would like to see him go well, but I still think Texas is going to win if I'm being honest.
Imagine Romeo Odunze wins this game, maybe wins a national championship, falls enough in the draft. Welcome to Buffalo, my guy.
Let's go.
Oh yeah.
This text really to close out this national this little chapter. Washington and Michael Penix Jr. could win this game if Texas can't get healthy. I don't know. We don't know right now the health of all their players. We'll maybe in the next couple of days we'll find out. They're pretty banged up a little bit. Texas is, but I still think Texas wins, moves on to face Michigan, and Texas will beat Michigan because I don't think college football wants cheaters to win the national championship.
I thought the
we're
committee had. I thought the committee had something about player availability for these games, but maybe I misheard that.
We have our quarterback.
Oh my God.
We got our quarterback.
That must be nice.
Yeah.
Imagine having a quarterback. Couldn't be us, Ben.
Right, not every team needs a quarterback. No, I'm kidding.
I,
All right, let's get into the last
Right.
stretch of the show, which is our game picks. We have a bonus pick today because I miscounted last night. Because I was scratching these at like 9:30 at night, deciding which
We
game
got
we
our
should pick.
records.
We do. I
Oh,
do.
perfect.
My 5-1 week was ruined by the San Francisco 49ers on Christmas.
Wow.
I would have had a two game
What did I go then
lead
for?
over Ben, but right
What did
now
I
it's
go
only
last
one.
week?
Last week, when
last week's gonna be interesting.
I have them, I do. I went 4-2. You went. Ben went 2-4.
Wow.
Jenna and
That must be my worst
Jenna
week.
and Connor both went 3-3 last week. So
Wow.
Look at
solid,
me.
pretty
Yeah, you hear that?
I'm
average.
over
but
500.
Yeah, you hear that,
You
Jenna?
are.
We don't know ball. It's over. We don't know ball.
Yeah,
But let's
it's
go
okay.
into our first game. The first game of this week is the Saturday game on ABC. Dallas going to the road to Detroit.
Debt riot gonna cause a riot.
Let's go. I'm taking Det Riot. I think that they look really good against the Broncos, and and Dallas look really poop against the Dolphins. They've been trending in the wrong direction. I think that the Lions are figuring themselves out again. So I'm taking the Leons.
The Leons.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Oh my God. What a segue. Anyway, so I have a feeling that my pick's gonna be a little crazy. So Ben, you go next.
for it.
Or Paul, why don't you go next?
All right. I like Detroit a lot, but I don't think they have as much to play for after wrapping up that division. I think their seeding is pretty much locked in for the most part. So, Dallas, they're coming off a couple close. Well, the one against Buffalo wasn't close, but they're coming off a close loss last week. Both AFC teams, so maybe not as important standing wise, but I mean, they're going to want to try to win it and, keep their division hopes alive, try to, get off that skid and get some momentum for the postseason. I think Dallas comes away with a win. I think they'll be a little more desperate than Detroit. So give me the Cowboys.
There is one other thing to mention as well. You got to think about who's playing at home. It is literally a home game for the Dallas Cowboys. They're undefeated at home. To that end, Dallas is winning the game. They're in a very peculiar situation. They need to pretty much win out and have Philadelphia lose one more game to win the NFC East for themselves. And Philadelphia's end of season schedule is really, really easy. They got the
Yeah.
Cardinals this coming week, and then the next week they face off against the Giants. Yeah, sure, the Giants did nearly just beat them a couple of nights
Who
ago.
knows? Maybe if Tyrod starts the full game, they beat them.
Maybe the Eagles lock up the NFC East and have nothing to play for. But until then, Dallas is going to have to come out swinging to try to get it back. So give me Dallas over Detroit.
We'll never continue to root for Dallas after the rest of the year. I mean, I had to for a couple of games this year because of the Bills. But other than those games, Dallas is going right into the book of me not picking them because they can never do anything good. Give me the Detroit Lions. They also just won their first division of any kind in 30 years. They're riding high. They're also in the running for the NFC's 1 seed as well. So this game does have something to do. Obviously, the Lions will need some help, but give me the Detroit Lions in this one. Let's head over to Sunday's slated game, New Year's Eve. Last time the Bills got had help to get into the playoffs on New Year's Eve. The Bills needed the Bengals to win against the Ravens. The Bengals did that. The Bills went into New Year's Day with a playoff spot. The Bills could go into next week on New Year's Eve if the Ravens beat the Dolphins. Who wins?
I know who Connor is going to pick. I want Baltimore. I've been trying to, jinx Miami in a way by picking them, but that's kind of backfired against me. So in a way, maybe I'm going to jinx myself and picking against them this week. But with Miami's injuries, this game being in the bank, I know you mentioned Connor, you played Lamar Jackson well. And while I do agree, the Dolphins have been a different team away from Hard Rock Stadium this season, and the Ravens have been a different team in the bank. So with those two factors, I mean, I just think, there's more of an advantage to Baltimore. They got a lot of speed on defense. I mean, I think it's gonna be a great game. Don't get me wrong, but I think Baltimore wins by a field goal.
Okay. I would not. I can see that. I can. But bit of breaking news out of the Dolphins camp for you guys. Somebody just got added to the injury report. Tua Tagovailoa is dealing with a finger and now an ankle injury.
Oh boy.
Really?
Does that sway your decision for this week?
No, because he's fine.
Because
What
Mike
they're-
White's gonna come off the bench and sling 7
Yep.
touchdowns.
Yeah, Mike White with the
Former
man.
Dolphins fan, actually.
Yeah, for real. If y'all watched Hard Knocks with Dan
Hold
Marino.
on. Wait. What did I just hear?
Oh, good, you're back. Yeah, Tua Tagovailoa got added to our injury report.
Oh.
Yeah, it's got something to do with I think a finger, and I don't really remember what it was. Like, it's been very there's not a lot of information about it.
Mm.
Like, I only heard about it a couple of times today. that Tua got added to our injury report. But nah, it's what they're doing with. It's like ever since what happened with Joe Burrow,
Yeah, you got it.
they're being
But
really
the
really
Bills took Allen off.
at
The Bills took
last.
Yeah, they did. But I think that they had him on there because of Joe Burrow too.
That's why we've probably got Tua on ours. So at the end of the day, Tua plays.
Yeah.
The Baltimore Ravens are 1-2 against the Miami Dolphins since 2019.
But the
Tua-
thing is, their defense is different.
Their defense is
It
different.
is.
It's been different since they added Roquan. And
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the status of Kyle Hamilton, but
Still questionable.
he's still questionable. Okay,
Yeah, questionable.
but
If
I
he,
like Geno Stone.
yeah, I mean, so do I. At the end of the day,
That's a
though,
great name, by the
at the
way.
end of the day,
Yes.
I'm not nervous. I'm not.
Better name than Stone Smart.
Better name than Brian Anger.
Oh, jeez. Now we're going to better names. We should just get back into game
But
picks now.
but no,
Yeah.
all I'm saying is that the Dolphins are going to win. We're going to win.
Okay.
We're going to win we're going to win our first AFC East in 15 years. And man, am I going to be so happy when we do. But I won't say much more than that. I don't want to jinx anything, especially considering my fantasy quarterback is Lamar Jackson.
Mhm.
And I'm probably going to have to start Zay Flowers if Jalen Waddle doesn't play.
Yeah.
So,
What is the
yeah,
status on him? What's the
he's
status on
still
Jalen?
he's very questionable. Like
Okay.
I would honestly have said doubtful myself, but Coach McDaniel is probably gonna let him go all the way to game time to see if he can play or not,
Probably.
just like they did with
Yeah, I would
Tyreek.
say.
Yeah.
So I still think the Dolphins are gonna win regardless.
I'm gonna take the Dolphins just because I think they have something to prove.
Yeah, we really do.
Yeah.
One narrative dead, another one is put up right back in its place. Oh, the Dolphins
Make
beat a
it an
good team.
even split. I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens in this game. There's no bias in this pick whatsoever. Let's move on to the next game. The third selection is the Colts hosting the Las Vegas Raiders. And what could be interesting? This is interesting. The Colts can continue their playoff hopes, but the Raiders, if they went out and get some help from the Chiefs and the Denver Broncos, the Raiders are scrolling in as AFC West champions.
Mhm.
Could anybody have believed this? Not me. And you know
That would be
what?
insane.
You know what? I'm gonna say it. Aiden O'Connell is the truth. That man has found Devontae Adams, and they have found some life. I'm taking the Raiders to win
Even
this
though he
game.
didn't complete a pass for the last like 3/4 of the game.
Nope. Just monitor the Josh Jacobs status. If he plays, it's going to be even more in line for the Raiders. Just give me the Raiders.
See, I really am, kind of leaning into that Raiders AFC West storyline and have the Chiefs, fall out. But that is kind of a little unrealistic when you think that the Chiefs play Jake Shiesty
Sure.
this week, who kind of is falling back to earth. And then the next week, they play the Chargers in Easton Stick. So
Hey, don't diss Easton
I'm not
Stick.
gonna
Y'all
diss
saw what he
Easton
did.
Stick after, I mean, he was slinging that stick around the other game. Your stick was slinging the ball around. I don't know. I was trying to come up with a pun. It's not really a football pun because it's like a baseball or like hockey, brand,
Slinging
right?
that stick.
Slinging that stick. Yeah, don't ask about hockey in this area.
Yeah, but I don't know. Either way, like Easton Stick sounds like a generic baseball bat, which there probably is an Easton Stick, but either way, the NFL Easton Stick, I guess he played okay against the Bills. But I mean, it's the same thing, with Browning. Like eventually, you know, you get more tape on these backup quarterbacks, they aren't as consistent. Like it's just tough to ask the backup quarterback, to follow up a performance like that week in and week out. So that's why I think I'm gonna, just go with the Colts because they're at home. I think, the Raiders are playing well, but I still don't trust Aiden O'Connell and that offense. I trust Minshew a little bit more, and them getting Michael Pittman back is going to be huge for that offense.
Mm-hmm. I can see it. I can see it all the same.
All right, Jenna, who you got?
I had the Colts earlier, but I'm gonna take the Raiders. I think that they They found a little something, and their defense was playing pretty good. They were getting a lot of pressure on the Chiefs, making Mahomes' life hell. So I'm gonna take the Raiders.
Yeah, give me the Raiders as well. I really feel that the Raiders have something good cooking, but I don't know if that's going to translate into, making the improbable possible. But we'll move on and we'll see. Big game for the Bills. It is the Steelers going on the road to the number 12s, to the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh boy. Oh boy. This
Give
is
me
this,
Seattle. This is gonna help Buffalo if Seattle wins.
Yeah, I'm taking Seattle too.
Me too. Connor, this is on you.
no. Oh, now you're putting it all on me. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks guys. Thanks guys. Appreciate it. Anyway, so let me give y'all a bit of a refresher. So at this point in the season, the Steelers are 8-7, and we all know how Mike Tomlin is. This man has to have a winning record in the regular season at all costs. He's got two opportunities to do it: a game against Seattle or a game against Baltimore. He's got to do it. He wants that regular season win and one shot at the playoffs. Who do you think is going to be easier for Tomlin's crew to beat? A Seattle team that's kind of
Seahawks.
looked very kind of questionable, or a Ravens team who could be fighting for their lives? To that end, give me the Steelers. I think
Ooh.
I think depending on who starts at quarterback, I think Mason Rudolph. If it is Mason Rudolph, is going to lead the game of his life. This is the Mason Rudolph legacy game. And no, this pick isn't because it screws the Bills. This pick is just because I think this is where the Steelers are going to get to their however many consecutive 500
I think
seasons.
that streak ends this year. That's my bold take.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it very well could, but Tomlin is just not that kind of coach. He's not just going to let it go
Mhm.
by the wayside. I think he's going to get one of the two final games, and it's probably going to be this one. But that's
Well,
just my take. You guys can flame me next week if I'm wrong.
all right, we'll keep you to that. As long as the same thing with the Josh Allen jersey as well. There's things to be clipped here, and to
I'm
show
just
show
going.
the world.
For me, I'm going rock chalk. Whatever helps the Bills. So give me. I already see what the game is. I'm taking the Chiefs in this one. No
Oh,
question. They get the
oh
bounce
man.
back after that tough loss to the Raiders. Big win over Jake Shiesty. Again, Jake Shiesty, came back down to earth against Pittsburgh last week.
Should have
So
never cut me, they
Yeah.
said.
yeah.
I'm
Connor, what do
taking
you got?
the.
Or
You're,
Jenna, you go for it. Anyone.
I'm gonna take the Chiefs. I think
that was
they were embarrassed the other day.
good.
Yeah,
Embarrassed.
I don't
Good.
think they're gonna have a game like that after last week again.
Nah, we want to see it for the agendas to be pushed. I would love to see the Bengals go in there and beat him again, but without Burrow, it's not happening. I'm taking the Chiefs too.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
not gonna be Browning head. That's not gonna be a
All right.
thing.
Even more proof that I'm not just out here rooting against Buffalo to make the playoffs.
I
Chiefs
had
are
a
going to probably
feeling
win this game.
everyone was going to go Chiefs across the board for that reason. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm also in my head. I'm like, well, if I just do this, I mean, I could just ruin our season. I don't know. This is a weird spot. Feels like the same spot I was in when the Bills were facing the Jags, and I took the Jags and ruined them, almost completely ruined our season. Give me the Bengals to keep the just not to jinx this. Two,
I'm gonna
I
be
feel
pissed if the Bengals win, Paul. There's gonna be some bad. No, I'm kidding.
Oh man, that'll be funny.
I'll
I'll
call in
blame
sick
you
next week.
though.
I'll call in sick
I
next
may
week.
not even be. Well, oh yeah, next week I'll be here. The week after, it's TBD. But I guess we'll get there when we get there.
All right,
Yeah.
this could be unanimous off the board. Since the Denver versus
You know
Chargers.
what? I'm actually gonna take Easton Stick and Giff Smith to get their first win. In their interim careers. I think that's his name, right? Giff Smith, the
I'm
Chargers
thinking that,
interim
yeah,
coach.
yeah.
Are you
Like,
sure it's not Jiff Smith?
maybe it
it's
is
Giff.
Giff Smith.
Who
Either
knows?
way, I saw what they said to Josh Allen after the the game, and that's partially influencing my decision. But also, I don't know if you could trust Jared Stidham, and the move to bench Russ. I don't think you go all out to win that in correspondence. I think that's kind of like a soft tank. Let's try to get a better draft pick the last 2 weeks of the season by taking out Russ. We'll save that guaranteed contract, and then we'll get a slightly better draft pick in this draft class. So I think the Chargers are going to win here.
Oh man.
Oh, frick
So,
yeah, we're wearing white pants. Let's go.
oh, y'all are wearing white pants?
Yeah, blue on white.
Oh
My favorite
God.
combination.
Wait, isn't that the combination that?
Oh, so Josh Allen's gonna have 8 touchdown drives.
Oh, great. Well,
What else we got?
that's just peachy. Anyway, my pick for this game is honestly, yeah, it's going to be the Chargers. It's going to
Yeah.
be the Chargers
I'm
at
taking
this
the
point.
Chargers too.
I'm straight up. I'm straight up out here going to be like, oh yeah, if Russell plays, then yeah, no, give me the
Don't we
give me the
have
Broncos.
one more game too? I
Yeah.
think.
Bonus pick.
Oh,
Bonus
good.
pick. Ooh, here we go.
Oh, the good one.
This
Lucky
could
number
maybe
7.
determine what the rest of this year looks like in bonus picks for brag rights between the three of us. Sorry, Connor, you came in late. Saints at
Mm.
Bucks is the bonus pick.
Give me
for
the
this week.
Bucks. Baker
Yeah.
Mayfield is on a revenge tour like no other.
Bacon. He's baking in the kitchen.
All right, I
Yeah,
found the
he is.
perfect scenario.
Go
Oh,
for it.
have you?
NFC Championship game in
Oh,
Detroit. Baker Mayfield versus Jared Goff.
yes. Oh man,
That's the
oh,
perfect
man.
script.
Oh man, the
Like,
Floridian in me is
Fox will be
excited
happy
about
with you.
that one. I'd be rooting so hard for Baker Mayfield. Man, that'd be so great. I want to see that now. You have it in my head now, Ben. Thanks.
well, I just
No.
spoke it into existence, right?
Yeah, we'll speak this into existence. The Bucks are winning the game.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think so too.
And if they win, I think they clinch the NFC South, right?
They do not.
Not
they got
yet,
a-
even.
Nope, they got a little ways to go yet.
Okay.
They
'Cause
would
I thought
probably
there were
need
a couple
help from
games on
the
the
Atlanta
on the
Falcons.
Saints. Okay, the
Actually-
Falcons are still alive.
Yeah.
Let me really quickly
Yeah, 'cause
check
they
because
won.
they should actually still be alive. Yeah, if the Falcons finish, let's
Falcons
see.
got the Bears, I believe.
No,
Yeah.
wait. The
Actually,
Bucks.
no.
The Bucks can go to 9-7, and they would be. I don't know what they would be in the division. I don't know. Let me see what the
Actually-
division record is.
Actually, no. That's for it. That's for it. If the Bucks win this game, that should be for it. That should
Alright.
be for the NFC South. Because there's
Pretty
no
We
way.
all
much.
think
There's
the Bucks
no.
is going to win the South. Cool.
Oh man.
I like Baker
please.
Mayfield. Now I'm starting to buy into the new Baker hype, not the old Baker hype. This is new Baker hype. He's cooking
Yeah.
some good cookies right now.
New school.
And
New school Baker.
new
Yes.
school Baker, like the one that wants to run through brick walls and win football games, not the one
And
that wants to
slam
run
his
through brick
helmet
walls.
on, slam his head into his teammates' helmets. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right. Final thoughts on a Wednesday night as we again almost hit the hour and a half mark.
Yeah,
Final
that's crazy.
thoughts. Why is
Um,
your entire fan base overlooking the Patriots? I just
I'm
wanna
not
know that
overlooking
right
the
now.
Patriots.
I just want to know
First
why
of
y'all are
all,
all looking to Week 18, and it's not any of you three. It's all of your other fans on Twitter. Why are all y'all overlooking the Patriots and just thinking all about Miami? Why are we rent free in your heads when we don't even play you for a week?
I mean, we technically don't have to be all focused on our next opponent the same way the Bills are. So we can overlook whoever we want, but I'm thinking that the Bills are dead set on the fact that they lost to the Patriots earlier this season, but our
Yeah.
defense is, I mean, we have Ed Oliver for this game.
Free.
We have Rasul Douglas now. We have Linville Joseph now. We have Leonard Fournette now if he's going to be elevated again.
Playoff
um,
Lenny.
Yeah, playoff Lenny. I healthy Kyer Elam is back. We'll see if he gets a chance. Christian Benford, AJ Epinesa, Micah Hyde, Terrell Bernard, they're all improving. So
Someone go at Kyer Elam's burner account. Tell him he's actually playing this week.
yeah.
But,
Wish
Kyrie
him all the
Elam's
best,
burner
though.
account.
I mean, like I have a freaking picture right here of Kyer Elam and Tre'Davious White after Kyer got a pick versus
Well,
Miami.
this year it's gonna be
Oh, you had
Kyrie
to-
Elam and Rasul Douglas.
Oh, you
The
had to
GOAT.
bring that
Oh.
back up. Oh, yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
had to bring that back up. Okay, I see
Also,
how it is, Jenna. I see exactly how it is. You had
Yeah.
to bring that back up, and I just got flashbacks of that game.
I do have a
39-31,
picture
and we
of,
had it.
it can't be seen, but
no,
I do
that
have
wasn't
a
the game. That
picture I
was the
got from Christmas.
34-31 game.
Yeah,
Was
this
it?
was.
Yeah, that was the
Oh,
playoff
why
game.
did I?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
no,
what I
I-
said. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
what I
know
was
this was
thinking.
the playoff game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because that was what I got
Oh, okay.
flashbacks to was the playoff game.
Mhm.
I have a picture of Tyler Bass kicking the game-winning field goal against the Dolphins last year for the division. It's
Nice.
right over my head. Can't be seen, but it's right over my head.
Tyler
It's the
Bass.
best Saturday of my life.
The
great.
2024 Hall of Fame finalists were announced. Pretty
Oh,
good
really?
list. You got Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Willie Anderson,
Be breaking news tonight.
Jabari Evans, Dwight Freeney, Antonio Gates, Rodney Harrison, Devin Hester, Torrey Holt, Andre Johnson, Julius Peppers, Fred Taylor, Reggie Wayne, Patrick Willis, and Darren Woodson. That is
Those are
quite
Where's
a
good
list.
Steve
That's a
Tasker?
good one.
You have Darren.
I know, right?
Devin Hester on this
Exactly.
list, but not Steve. Sorry, had
One of the best special teamers
I
ever.
think it's
Devin Hester,
because
but Steve Tasker preceded him.
I think it's because Tasker was like a gunner. It's like Matthew Slater is probably going to be in that same conversation as
Mhm.
Tasker. Like
True.
they're probably good enough at their positions to be Hall of Famers, but it's just kind of like an unheralded position, right? Like you don't really hear about it as much other than, the Pro Bowl. I think maybe kick return just because you remember some of, the big returns, like the one in the Super Bowl, and then he has the record for the most punt and kick returns for touchdowns in NFL history. That's probably why Hester, would get it for
Mhm.
Tasker. I mean, I think
True.
Tasker is in, the Hall of Very Good under the Hall of Fame, but I can
It's
see
just a
why
shame
he's
that
not in
special
it.
teamers aren't given the same recognition when they're a third of the game and they have just as much impact on the games as the offense and the defense. A lot
Well,
of games are
I
like,
think
you got freaking kickers that go into
Well,
that.
here's the thing, though. Like, this might be a little bit of a rabbit hole we may not want to go down to, but I think the whole, premise of special teams being 1/3 of the game, it is not 1/3 of the game. It's maybe like 1/5 of the game. It's important.
Well, you know what I mean.
It's all no, I get what you meant, but like, that whole thing when people say it's not just you, it's other people. Oh, special teams is
it's
it's
an
a huge
impact
phase. It's a huge phase of the game, but I
after
can
every
see
score.
why.
Special teams
Yeah,
come
I can
out.
see, I can see why, there's only a couple punters, you only got a couple kickers. It's because,
Punt.
I guess the
It's so rare for there to be a dominant kicker in the league.
that's
like
why
Justin
I
Tucker,
think it's like the
dominant
line
punters.
between, very good and like elite is like it's maybe not as as you know
Because
there
every
isn't as
team
big
can
of a
have a good
gap.
kicker.
Yeah, there's a lot of really, really good kickers, and
Mhm.
but there's only so many, Hall of Fame kickers, and it's kind of the
Yeah.
same thing with, Devin Hester. There's a lot of really good returners, but there's only one Devin Hester in the history of football.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But any other closing thoughts? We got
Actually,
an exciting game tomorrow. Not really,
oh,
but
hey, it is for me. I got the Browns defense and David Njoku
yeah, I
in
got the
my
Browns defense
fantasy
in a
championship.
fantasy championship too.
Joe
This
Flacco's
is
gonna cook.
Yeah, Joe Flacco is going to cook to David Njoku. They're going to hold the Jets to a shutout just like the Dolphins did. Bang, I start the week with maybe 30, 40 points. It's over. I'm going to be a champion by the next podcast.
Mhm.
Anyway, I do have one final thought. Let's go to the MVP race for 2 seconds.
Go for it.
I've been very adamant the whole, like, Paul, remember last week when we were talking about how I thought this was the year a skill position player should win MVP. I'm still on that train. CMC, Tyreek Hill. God, that'd be great if both of them won it. Even your picks. Yeah, Raheem Mostert's not going to be a dark horse candidate for MVP anymore. He did not have the game he needed against Dallas, but if he has one against Baltimore, who knows?
You think he's
But
gonna play? He didn't
yeah,
practice.
yeah, he's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, he's fine. It's just like what they're doing with Tua. They gave him a
Yeah.
little bit of rest. They've been giving him rest now. He's fine. He'll play. And but I was in this was an interesting discussion I had even before the show. If there's really any quarterback that's left that you could possibly think about giving the MVP to, yeah, Lamar Jackson's your betting favorite right now for MVP. But why are I know people are like, oh, I'm a turnover machine. How can you disagree with Josh Allen being MVP when the man has 40 total touchdowns with his arm and legs?
Yeah.
How do people not see that even without if without Allen that Bills team crumbles,
We
falls
would
to the
be
ground
like
and just
we'd have a
y'all would be around Broncos
losing
territory
record.
right now, if not even Chargers
Broncos
territory right now.
territory. I mean,
No,
they were still winning a little bit.
yeah.
We'd be like
Come on, you don't think Kyle
Titans
Allen could do
territory.
something? Nah, I think
Kyle Allen, he wouldn't. He's not great. He's only on the team because he's friends with Josh.
yeah, that's fair.
is
So
true.
maybe middle of the road, like Jets Titans territory without
Mhm.
Josh Allen. Yeah, I know. Even my own fan base is like, "Oh yeah, show us turnovers," or "Oh yeah, show us passing
Only
touchdowns."
has 3 more than Tua.
I know. So it's not like that's much of an argument anyway. I mean,
Right.
yeah, we want to win MVP just as badly as any Dolphins fan does. But at the end of the day, you can't argue against Josh Allen if you're thinking about it from a literal standpoint. That is the quarterback that deserves MVP, and even more
Mhm.
so if he single-handedly brings this Bills team back from the brink.
Yeah, he's got
And
one of the best EPAs per play in the league. He's got the second best QBR in the league. Yeah.
he actually, believe it or not, I believe is also the best quarterback this year against top 5 defenses.
Yes, he
Yeah, he's
is.
one of them.
He is.
Yeah,
No,
I
he's the
should.
best.
Oh, the best.
Yeah.
Tua's
I-
5th best.
You know,
Fun fact.
somebody told me that he didn't play well against good defenses,
Huh?
and I was just like, he literally had a perfect game against the top 7 defense in the Patriots in 2021-22.
That was the
Um,
greatest game I think I ever watched.
yeah. So he does play very well against good defenses. It's just against poor defense, maybe he does play a little less than good, but yeah,
Nah, there's 2 players
Allen
that
is
seem to
amazing.
give Josh Allen trouble, and that's Josh Allen and Jordan Whitehead.
Yeah.
Get both of
Yeah.
them on the Dolphins, and we might finally be able to beat y'all more than just once every 2 years.
right.
But that's neither here nor there. My whole point was that I know all of y'all will agree with me that Josh Allen deserves more of an MVP case than he's currently getting. And yeah, I'll step foot in Miami, say that is in a completely impartial way and get crucified for it. But at the end of the day, facts are facts. He's
Mhm.
got 40 total touchdowns with his arm and legs, and it's not like he's tush pushing it either. He's actually running in there, jumping over people, powering his way through people.
He's got 13 rushing touchdowns. That's the most in his career.
He is
Yeah.
Deion Dawkins style, bowling people over just to get into the
Deion
end zone.
Dawkins is helping him Deion Dawkins style.
Yeah, for real. What do y'all call him over there? The snowplow?
Snowman. The snowman.
Snowplow.
But our tush push is the snowplow.
Oh my god, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
the snowplow is Dion, right?
Yeah.
well, you won't have
Our
the
tush push is like the freaking Stampede, versus the
Mhm.
Chiefs. We
Yeah.
had like 8 people just shoving Josh into the end zone. Like, I don't know if you remember that play
I
when
do.
Josh had that rushing touchdown. Like, the Chiefs had him wrapped up at about like the 5, and then those legs just kept moving, and then there's 4 people. 4 guys came up behind him, and the whole pile just, went into the end zone. It was insane.
He said, "I'm too big."
Watch me. But no, I mean, people just, especially around the Miami area, just hate Josh Allen, and for obvious reasons. But there's no, even impartially, he basically is he's better he's prime Ben Roethlisberger, but better in every single way, both on the field and most importantly off the field.
Mhm.
He can run better than Roethlisberger ever could. The only thing I think is that Prime Ben was more accurate than Allen is right now, but that's it. I mean, shoot,
Yeah.
Tua was more accurate than Allen, but that's
Way more.
only
Yeah.
that's only one piece of a larger puzzle when it comes to quarterbacks. Like Allen is just the full package. He can bowl people over with his legs. He's not afraid to sling the ball deep, especially now that your scapegoat actually wasn't really a scapegoat, gone because poor performance.
Mm-hmm.
Which too bad y'all didn't fire him right away. Which too bad y'all for one didn't fire him right away. Maybe you don't lose a couple of those games to the Broncos or Patriots, or from my other side of it, why couldn't y'all have just waited until end of season to fire him? Maybe y'all would have already collapsed. But anyway, I had to let a little of the homer out for that one because that was what I heard a lot. It's like what a lot of the comments were. Oh yeah, he got scapegoated.
No,
He
he
wasn't
was
the only
he was
problem. He got
trash. He was
scapegoated. No, he
terrible.
was
he was
trash.
trash.
He was trash. Watch them play calls. Even Matt Canada sometimes was looking at him and going, "Wow, this guy is like
Super innovative.
Yeah. He's
for
making
Yeah.
me look good. Yeah.
yeah." Well, let's be honest. Nothing could have ever made Matt Canada look good.
No.
But
Not
too
even
bad.
Canada.
Nope. Too bad that all of your Fire McDermott takes are now dead. I was
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
I was
No, they're not dead yet. We got to see
They're
what they
not
do in the
dead.
playoffs.
no, they're
Right.
dead.
Yeah.
They're dead.
In the
They're not.
playoffs.
They're not dead until they rear their ugly head in the playoffs or they lose to New England. So
Oh
one or
man.
the other.
Oh
You
man, if
know.
that happens, Frank Smith,
Yeah.
welcome to Miami. Welcome to Buffalo.
No, you mean Ben Johnson.
No, I mean Frank Smith. Frank Smith is like I don't know if he's chomping at the bit to leave McDaniel's system, but if there is a guy that is basically a placeholder and is there just to look good in a team, it's Frank Smith.
He can go
Mike
to New
McDaniel.
Orleans. I know the Saints fans are drooling at the mouth for Frank Smith, so
Oh,
he
yep.
can go there.
No, he's
We'll
going
take.
to with the way
We're taking Ben Johnson, Connor.
with,
All right.
with the way that we've been trading players back and forth, like how we were this close to Jordan Poyer.
No, we need Ben Johnson. If
No, I
we
mean, yeah,
move on,
y'all
if
do
we
need
move
Ben
on, it's Ben Johnson or bust. I think that's how the Bills would operate, anyways.
Ben Johnson, your head coach, and Joe Brady, your actual offensive coordinator.
That would be a killer combo if
Draft
that does happen.
draft Keon Coleman or Romeo Odunze in round 1, and y'all will be cooking.
Or Troy Franklin. That's my other
Okay,
guy.
yeah, but no, you want Coleman. You want
I
him.
think
He would be a great compliment in your offense.
Yeah, you don't want Franklin on the Bills because then we got some
No.
Tyreek type speed with a big frame with Josh's arm. That would be dangerous.
And we still have Jalen Ramsey, so what does it matter in the end? I had to say it, but
Well, you got
anyway.
one person to cover Diggs, the other side for Franklin. Either way, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens this weekend.
Oh, it's
With
gonna be fun.
it's college football. I mean, I'm almost more excited to see how FSU does.
Same.
But
Let's
there's
kick
still a lot
Georgia in the
of
teeth.
important. Yeah, there's still a lot of important NFL stuff, too. But that's all I have tonight.
That's all I had too. I just had to restate the Allen MVP case because
I think he could win it. I mean, he's a top-rated quarterback from a Pro Football Focus, so I think if the Bills, are able to win their division, he'll have a strong case.
Yeah.
he
His
has to.
EPA per play is 0.21.
Yeah, he
Highest
has
in
Going
the
to
league
say
against top defenses.
he has to win again. He has to win the AFC East to be considered though, because if he doesn't, yeah, he's not getting it. Like that's
Yeah,
going to end the narrative
unfortunately.
right away, and that's going to hand the MVP to either Lamar Jackson, CMC, Tyreek, or Tua. Which, to be completely honest, I'm more for Tua getting the MVP over Tyreek. We've seen what the team is without Tyreek. We've seen what it is without Tua. They won without Tyreek. They don't win without Tua, and that's that reared its head in the playoffs. Tua plays that game, we win, and I will not ever go away from that discourse. Tua starts that game against the Bills in the playoffs, we win with how close Skylar Thompson made it. So Tua's the MVP in my opinion for the Dolphins. But hey, must be nice to have two MVP candidates. Last time that ever happened was with the Bills in the 90s.
Yeah.
And your
Thurman
entire fan base,
Thomas.
Yeah, and your entire fan base wants to say, "Oh, you have 2 MVP candidates, that means you have none."
Hey,
Oh,
I wasn't alive then, so I couldn't advocate for those two in the
I
90s.
know.
But
I cou
personally, in my opinion, actually,
I wasn't alive
didn't
either.
make sense. Personally, I think that if you have two MVP candidates on the same side of the ball on the same team, it doesn't count because that it just doesn't make sense. You have one most valuable player on your team. It's one guy.
And in
if
my
there's
opinion,
two,
it's Tua.
then it's like, is there really a one valuable player? But yeah, I understand.
Yeah, no, it's Tua. Take Tua off this team, and they're going to crash and burn. Just like take Allen off the Bills, they're going to crash and burn. Both quarterbacks are very strong MVP candidates, but you can't. No one needs to discredit Allen ever.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
of
they
course.
need to stop.
all right. Well, we
All right.
thank.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
So thank
Talked a
you
lot
for
about everything.
everyone for tuning in. We'll probably do another Wednesday edition next week because of a new year and all the New Year's games. So
Oh, yeah.
see y'all next week. Thank you for tuning in, and make sure to like and subscribe as well as comment. And have a good night, and go Bills.
Go
Go
Bills.
Bills.